My name is Darius Wallace, and I'm a student athlete at Bacone College. Today I'm here to talk to you about the past, present, and future of Bacone College men's basketball. So I interviewed Coach Coleman, the new his men's basketball coach. I interviewed Jordan McNally, and I interviewed myself. A little bit of history about Bacone College. It's one of the oldest colleges in the state of Oklahoma. It is an Indian-based college. So I want you to take a walk with me and let's explore through my eyes. You state your name, please.
Jordan McNally.
And where are you from, Jordan?
From Rialto, California.
Born and raised?
Yes, sir. My whole life.
So you are a basketball player. What brought you to Bacone College?
Well, I had first went to a junior college at Citrus College, and I was offered to go play basketball here, so that's what brought me here.
How long have you been here?
This is my third year here.
Okay, so you've seen changes happen while you were here. Would you like to talk about those changes?
I mean, for the most part, I would say student body-wise, that the changes kind of went down for me because there's been more students in the past at the school than there is now, but for the most part, I feel like there is less drama starting this year than there was in the past.
When you say drama, is it drama in academics or is it drama in athletics?
I would say just drama within the students because I would say before people were too worried about what other people were doing necessarily.
So when we talk about basketball, how has the basketball program been?
To be honest, it's probably not the best basketball program I've been a part of since I've been playing basketball. I feel like as a whole they lack competitive edge and just the will to want to always win.
Why do you say that? Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, because I feel like the 2 years that I did play up here, I felt like the coaches, they weren't really trying their hardest to make sure that we got the win and preparing us for the games.
So it's just more of basically just putting her out there, like not getting ready for the game. It was just,
For the most part, that's what I felt like.
So how do you feel the transition in the way that Bacone Athletics is going now?
I feel like now the transition is a lot better on wanting to prepare and then getting the players the information that they need for the other teams, but also I still feel like it's lacking that complete competitive edge, mainly because I feel like the coaching staff just needs to be a little bit harder on their players.
If you can do anything to change change the way it's going or talk to someone, what would it be?
It wouldn't really be that much, just crack down on the simple things just to make sure they can get rid of those simple mistakes.
And what are those simple mistakes?
Just the lack of hustle, just like simple stuff, ball on the ground, dive for it, or taking a charge, just little things that the players can do within themselves.
So would you say that it has to do with heart, or the coaches basically are just not teaching it?
I feel like it does have to do with a little bit of both heart and then the coaches just not implementing the fact that they want their players to do that.
And if I'm not mistaken, you also is a student coach. How is that working out?
It started off like that towards the beginning, but now since they're more into the season, there's not really much I can do. So when I am around, I try my best to try to give pointers out to the players just to fix the little mistakes that they're doing.
So with them having 5 games in already, what do you see that is something that, major that they need to work on?
Defense. They for sure have to work on defense.
What is it about their defense?
Just lack of hustle, not having pride in what they're doing when it comes to defense.
But do you think it's something that within Bacone, like something that's built into the culture? Because you've been here for 2 years, you played 2 years, and this is your third year which you're graduating, and basically you're saying it's the same thing with the new coach. Yes, the culture is changing, and it's going to take a while for change to come. But do you think it's something within like the culture that is built here based on like the prior people that were here?
I do feel like it is part of the culture because when we did first come in, I was at the meeting with the AD when he was talking to the basketball team. And the first thing he said was, we're not here for wins and we're just trying to make sure we graduate and get to school. Like, yes, school is important, but at the same time, you are here for basketball and you are here to get wins.
So speaking on that, I know a couple players who have been suspended or have been in trouble from the men's and women's basketball team. I don't know if you know a little bit about that, but do you agree with the discipline that has been happening around here with those athletes?
No, I feel like to the extent that he did it, it's too extreme. It's one thing if you're breaking too many rules and just a straight problem for the school, but if you have made one mistake or two, then it shouldn't have been to the extreme points that they made it.
I'm not really going to get into a race, but I know you are African American. With the Bacone is transitioning, putting a lot of emphasis on the Native American culture. Do you feel any type of way about that?
No, for the most part, I feel comfortable walking around. I don't have any problems with race. I mean, yes, there are a couple like staff that you have that hint that there's a possibility that they have a problem against you, but for the most part, no.
Yes, and of course you feel comfortable, but how does it make you feel when your peers feel when you know that, yes, you're a minority, but you come into a school where basically it should be a place away from home, and you're a young man and you're having to deal with that? How does that make you feel?
I mean, it bugs me a little bit because there's not really much I can do, especially since the school is trying to rebuild and then create a better name for itself.
So with all of the rumors and the news that's been going around, you are a senior and you're about to graduate. What would be your message to any of the athletes that's still going to be here behind you, or anyone that's going to come here behind you as a freshman or transfer?
Honestly, if the program isn't really switched around and they don't start winning more, if you don't have to, then I wouldn't suggest coming here.
Is it anything that you would like to say or get your message or point across?
No, there's nothing.
Well, thank you for your time, Jordan, and we enjoyed your interview. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I live in Baltimore 19 years. I love Baltimore. It's a good place. I think it's just the people that's there in Baltimore that makes Baltimore what Baltimore is known for. The best thing about Baltimore is the food. We're known for seafood. And the worst thing about Baltimore is the crime. The crime rate is ridiculous. Yes. Well, first they took away a lot of the recreation centers. So a lot of places, kids don't have a lot of places to go to, any outlets, to go to and spend time, like after school programs, stuff like that. I think if we start there, it would save a lot of the kids and a lot of the generations, whereas kids won't have to be out on the street. They won't have to grow up fast. They won't have to turn to the streets to, want to smoke marijuana or, do drugs or want to become a rapper or something like that. They need more activities to show the kids that it's still hope. So they can want to look to the future and know that they're the next generation. What are my goals in life? Ultimately, I want to be wealthy. I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. Have businesses and just have money just coming in from different places. Ultimately, I want to get my PhD in college. One of my goals was to make it to play professionally, even if it's to play NBA or it's to go overseas. I want to one day actually be able to Google myself or have someone else Google me to say, okay, this guy played it professionally. Only because I was once not this height. I kind of shot up, and I had a lot of people say that I wasn't good enough. I had a lot of people say I wasn't tall enough, and a lot of people say that I was also skinny. But I still persevered, and I'm standing here today at Bacone College, and I'm still fighting a good fight. But I would say ultimately my goal is to be wealthy and be able to take care of myself and my loved ones. In life, I wouldn't say I really had role models in life. I mean, I had people that I might have, looked up to in a sense, but I really had role models. Living in Baltimore, you see people doing stuff, but you kind of get that perception where, like, you don't want to be like them, but you don't want to do what they do either. Today, I look up to a guy named Eric Thomas, motivational speaker. His story took him 12 years to get a 4-year degree. His story is just so motivational and inspiring. And I listened to Ray Lewis as well, and his story was also motivational and inspiring. But I say the people that I look up to the most are the people that are real and genuine, that have a real life story and made something out of nothing. And that's what I'm trying to do myself. I think that's what inspired me. But I don't really think I have any role models. I mean, if I would have, I think those guys would be my role models. I wouldn't say I read books. I read a lot of articles. Eric Thomas he's all over the social media platform, and he has the Instagram, the Twitter, the Snapchat, the YouTube channel, which he got big off the YouTube channel. I listen to a lot of his motivational videos because he speaks all over from every topic, from marriage to counseling to just in everyday life of your mindset. And like different articles that they might write up on him and stuff like that. But I don't read quite too many books on Eric Thomas or Ray Lewis. Am I a good cook? I wouldn't say I'm a Chef Boyardee, but I mean, if it comes to survival mode, yeah, I can cook pretty good. The best thing I can cook? I think my best dish probably would be spaghetti, but not any type of spaghetti. I'm talking about spaghetti with red peppers and green peppers and onions and sausages. And you mix it all together. And then you cook some cornbread with that spaghetti. And then you can have either a glass of water for the athletes, so you can have a Kool-Aid, or you can have a glass of wine to chill it out. But I think my go-to dish for me to cook myself would be spaghetti, because one, you can eat spaghetti the next day, and two, you can eat spaghetti. My favorite dessert? I'm not really too much of a dessert guy, but right now, came to my head was probably cheesecake. I probably wouldn't eat it a lot, but I'm more of a classic guy. I would say a cheesecake, the original cheesecake, not with all of the toppings and stuff like that, just cheesecake. The most positive thing that I know about Bacone College, that would be a tough one. I'm a person that the cup is, the glass is half full. So, I mean, I know that Bacone College glass is half full, and they trying to change, and with change, it's going to take a while to build it back up. You gotta lay it brick by brick. But I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had the best experience here at Bacone College, meaning in athletics and in academics. And I'm just being, brutally honest when it comes to Bacone College. They have a lot of growing to do when you say in falls in Bacone College? Well, with the film production class, it's been awesome. I actually never really wanted to get